The World YWCA started this strategic framework as part of the 2035 envisioning goal, where it is aimed to have 100 million women involved as change makers. The RiseUp 4 is an extension of this goal to 2035. The inception phase of the RiseUp started with the appointment of the RiseUp leads under the leadership of Dia and Matthew, who is now the National General Secretary, and myself, and we started planning on how this program is going to take forward. The RiseUp leads, while there was an intergenerational focus to it, the expertise of the senior people was being considered along with the vision and the enthusiasm of the young women who were appointed as the young women lead. The locations were identified keeping in mind to reach out to the maximum young women across the country who have not had access to their rights. World YWCA partnered with the YWCA of India to implement this RiseUp programs in India, aiming to involve around 6,000 young women during these 3 years period between the ages of 18 to 30 years. At this point of time, the World YWCA came forward and held many trainings with us on different areas, telling us what to take forward, how to strengthen our areas, and especially looking at the male programs that we really wanted it to be strengthened, where the YWCA of India was lacking in that. Then we started looking at the co-creation along with the World YWCA, and at that point of time also the support was given to us on a regular basis. We were able to reach them. Learnings that we got from the World YWCA has held us at great stead, and because of this the RiseUp 4 is moving forward.
It's being implemented in 8 countries, one of which is India. We are working with young women from the age of 18 to 30 in 8 locations in India in year 1. And the motive and the objective of the program is that young women, they are able to envision their transformative leadership journey. The program began at an inception phase, which meant that the RiseUp Young Women Leads, which each country has 2, are trained and capacitated before we go into the field. So looking at that, a 6-month period was focused on inception. Then we had the co-creation phase, which was of 3 months, and in that we co-developed all the program. So we identified the location, we identified the partner organizations, we did all the communications, we planned all the field visits, and we planned all the work plan. And then came the implementation, which is of 12 months post the co-creation phase.
RiseUp project has been developed on a few values which we have been focusing since the start. One, which is creating and building safe spaces. What is a safe space? It's basically a place where young women can come and have dialogue and share their point of view and share their issues in a community. RiseUp has been a constant process. Though we end year 1 on certain impact, the year 2 journey has just started from there. The focus value of RiseUp project is the transformative leadership approach which we developed through the program. The focus is to support young women in building their leadership journey. MEL is the monitoring, evaluation and learning of the program. One of the key feature of our MEL is that it is built on qualitative and quantitative aspect. So it's not just about creating or covering the target numbers, but it is also about what qualitative changes we are seeing in the community, what stories we are capturing, what leadership journey we are capturing in the location of the young women participants.
We have 8 locations in year 1. So out of the 8 locations, we have taken 6 locations which are like categorically divided in the 6 regions of YWCA of India. Plus we have taken 2 additional locations. So like in northern region we have Tanda, in the eastern region we have Kandhamal in Orissa and Kharberia in West Bengal. In the western region we have Palghar, Maharashtra. In the southwest region we have Adimali in Kerala. In the southeast region we have Ooty in Tamil Nadu. And then we have 2 national projects of YWCA of India, which one of this is based in Trilokpuri, Delhi, and another one is based in Chandigarh, Punjab. Once we had derived that okay, we want to majorly work with Dalit and tribal communities, so then we started looking at which Dalit and tribal communities have had the least level of interventions. And all of these locations are unique in nature. So like Tanda is a forest range community. Adimali is a mix of Dalit and tribal communities who are based in just a little below the Munnar Hills. In Ooty, we are working with the 6 indigenous tribes of Nilgiri Hills. Then in Palghar also, we are working with a community that is a mix of 6 tribal communities, which is also marked as a protected indigenous land by Government of Maharashtra. In Kharberia, we have a weaving community. Kandhamal, we have another tribal community who were also affected by the riots that took place in Orissa, and those were the people who migrated and settled in Kandhamal. So why not reach out to people who are the most left behind?
Field trainings were done by the RiseUp Young Women Leads, supported by the steering committee and also the local young women. RiseUp Young Women Leads from National did this training for trainers. This was done for 2 groups. First was the steering committee, which is from the YWCA, the young women from YWCA and from the 6 regions which we have. And the second TOT was done with the local young women. First step of the program was to do the need assessment of all the identified locations. So through the need assessment, we were able to identify specific issues of all the communities. Tanda's issues was different, Adimali's issues was different. These communities have very diverse languages. We have Bengali, we have Marathi. So field trainings were done in a diverse language through our local young women participant who we call the master trainers. We were able to reach 300 young women, which was our target. We also were able to train 17 master trainers, which is a mixed group of our steering committee and also the local young women. We were able to conduct 10 field trainings in the identified locations. Out of the 300 local young women who we reached, 50% of those were from the marginalized communities. Many of our local young women were able to lead the groups. So in Trilokpuri, like local young women participants who were there in group 1 of the field trainings, they were able to lead the next group and facilitate the group 2 in Trilokpuri. One of our master trainers, who is also a local young woman, led a whole group of 44 young women. Many of our participants who were initially so shy, after 3 days of training, they were able to share their opinions. And when we have another discussion with them, they are able to bring their voices in that safe space.
So the biggest challenge was taking all of these locations which are extremely remote. A lot of these locations were geographically very difficult to reach. Then third was a lot of these locations have network connectivity issues. We did not want to start a program in a community where we had just generally been there and visited once. We really wanted to connect with the community. We really wanted to work along with the community. So we spent a lot of time on rapport building. Because we have a certain time period, it got a little difficult for us to manage a lot of things. So we had to do a lot of multitasking in between. First of all, we learned that as much as you can plan, there has to be a backup plan. Another learning for us was that intergenerational dialogues are extremely important. We also want to focus on it in year 2. Third is that because we picked up so diverse communities, we also had to focus on building exclusivity in each. The program implementation had to be unique for each community. Fourth was that young women will take time to open up. So that is a learning for us, that how can we work better to build their trust for us.
In year 2, we plan to work with 600 young women. We will be focusing on 3 of the major groups of young women. First will be the alumni of year 1, and we will also try to include more group or identify more group of young women in these communities. Another group or another locations which we will be working on is the locations through our local associations. So if one of our local associations wants to collaborate or partner with a community in their area, we will be aiming to work with them. Third approach in year 2 will be focusing on the partnerships or the networks which we have acquired in year 1. So we will be working with this group of deaf young women through the Indian Sign Language interpreters, and another element which we will be focusing in year 2 is the advocacy and campaigning of the issues of young women. We will be doing national advocacies and also local level advocacies in all the RiseUp locations. We will also be working with the master trainers. So we plan to have another training of trainers, and this will be led by RiseUp Young Women Lead but also supported by the master trainers from last year. We plan to create more communication channels, and also through digital engagements we would like to make RiseUp and the opinions and ideas of young women reach a larger audience and to reach larger masses. RiseUp has been a constant process. Though we end year 1 on certain impact, year 2 journey has just started from there.